Hey guys, it's Music Man 82. I'm back with another hiking video. If you've ever spent any time in the Cody area or in the Bighorn Basin in Wyoming, you've probably heard of or know where Carter Mountain is. It's a huge mountain that just runs south of the South Fork Highway, and it has it's the largest mountain mass in the Absaroka Range and has about a dozen ranked summits on it. The true high point is way far down the South Fork, and I'll eventually have a video on climbing that. But most people think of Carter Mountain as the kind of eastern end of the peak, which actually is three different summits. So today I'm going to show you what the world looks like from up there and what it's like to reach those points. This mountain caught my attention when my family and I moved to Cody in 1993, and I had been looking at it for a long time, going, I got to climb that someday, and I finally got the opportunity to do so in 2010. I was teaching at the college at the time, and a couple students from there went with me on this trip, and their names were Zach and Kate, and they're awesome. And we had a blast going up this mountain. There's a lot, it's all off trail, really. You drive a Forest Service road and then start heading up. And so the first peak that you come to is Peak Benchmark, and then there's another ranked summit. And then we also topped out at a kind of cool outcrop that's unranked, and then we went to the highest peak, which is the Marquette Benchmark number 2. So this morning we started out fairly early. We left Powell, I think, well before dawn, and kind of got out on to the mountain probably around 6:30 or 7. So we got an early start because we knew we had a long day. Peak Benchmark is the first peak that we climbed, and it's the one, if you're in Cody looking at Carter Mountain, it's kind of the broadest pyramid-shaped rock outcrop on the left of the mountain. And it comes in at 10,941 feet, and from town it looks like cool rock formations, and you get up there and you realize it is just rotten conglomerate, and you'll see in a few of these pictures close-ups, it's just as a bunch of rocks and dirt. So as you approach it, you realize there's absolutely no good climbing up there. Luckily there's an easy way to get up between Peak Benchmark and the next peak. So once you get above tree line, the views are amazing. When we were on this trip, we were lucky enough not to see any bears. My wife and I tried doing this same trip in 2017 and ran into several grizzly bears and actually got charged by one. That's probably the closest I ever want to come to one of those. So we reached the top of Peak Benchmark pretty early. Great views, really cool cliffs. You'll see the shot of Zach standing really near the edge. It's just a gorgeous summit. After we left the summit, we ascended peak 10,891. Doesn't have a name, but it's kind of the middle of the three, of the trio of summits that you can see from Cody. It's also ranked, but not by much. It is only 31 feet higher than the other rock outcrop that's farther right. And it has a very exposed summit. As you just saw in the pic with Zach on top, there's a lot of exposure, and it's pretty narrow around, and definitely not a place you'd want to stand if it were windy. So another little fun summit, and then after that we headed down to connect over to the unranked peak, which comes in at 10,860, and also really cool views. And you'll see the one shot looking back at it. Just a really neat rock outcrop that's up there. This whole cliff face is very similar to the Breccia Cliffs that are down on Togety Pass near Du Bois, Wyoming, in the Brook Lakes area. So very similar rock, about the same kind of consistency. If you try to climb on it, the rocks all pull out. So it's pretty exciting stuff. The final peak on our list was the Marquette benchmark number 2. The name Marquette comes from a town which no longer exists. Buffalo Bill Reservoir actually flooded this town. There used to be a small place there between the North and the South Forks of the Shoshone River, and the town was bought out. There used to be a post office and everything, so it's still there under the lake. The final peak was the highest, and it's a really broad grassy slope. The southern side of Carter Mountain is very gentle. There are lots of four-wheel drive dirt roads back there, and it comes in at 11,301 feet, and it was quite a long walk. It looked closer than it was, but it took us a long time to get over there. So we were already pushing early afternoon by the time we topped out on that summit. So as you notice, the last few pictures kind of went from up near the cliffs to back at the car. And this was kind of a crazy story. I had committed to doing a hour-long piano performance that evening, from about 5:30 to 6:30. It was just like background music at a banquet. And as the afternoon progressed, I started to get a little panicked that I wasn't going to make it back in time because I was gross and stinky and needed a shower. And finally, we took a different way back. We kind of headed a little bit west of the unranked summit and traversed some really loose scree slopes. And Kate wasn't super comfortable on that terrain. She'd never really been on it before, and so we were kind of going a little slow. And she made it just fine. She's awesome. But I had kind of this moment where I was like, Zach, I've got to like run back to the car so I don't miss my performance. And we were starting to run low on water. Didn't have a lot of food. And I was like, I'll go do my gig and I'll come right back up, because it was going to take them quite a bit of time to, finally get down everything. And Zach is awesome, and he was like, yeah, we'll do that. I think I gave him a little extra of my water, and then I just ran down the mountain as fast as I could, got in the car, and drove like a bat out of hell to go get a shower and get dressed. I made it to the venue, I think, 3 minutes before I started. Sat down and played for an hour, jumped in the car, and drove back up. I had filled a water jug as well. And so I was headed back to the South Fork fairly late. It's a bit of a drive from Cody back out there. And I was headed up the Forest Service Road and was flagged down by a guy whose truck had died. And so I had to take time to jump him. And then it's got to be close to 8 o'clock, I came on Zach and Kate kind of chilling out next to the road. And they were super happy for some water. Kate later told me they had, I think, found an apple in one of their packs, and it was like the best apple they ever had. And so, yeah, we didn't make it back to Powell probably till almost 10 o'clock at night. So it was a super long day, but man, it was a gorgeous day. And having looked at those peaks for 17 years, it was just awesome to get to stand on top of them, because they're amazing. So I'm kind of lumping them together as East Carter Mountain. There's, like I said, there's a dozen or more ranked summits along that entire expanse of that peak. It's between 20 and 30 miles long. And the face below the true summit extends 4,000 feet down almost vertically, and then 6,000 total feet down to the river. It's just a massive, massive mountain. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and look forward to sharing more content with you in the future. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you around for some more beers and hikes. Cheers.